Okay, so here's a little video about our community dish station. It helps us keep a sanitary environment in our community kitchen when we're out camping. As we know, when we're all sharing a kitchen and we're all sharing dishwater, anybody's germs can rapidly turn into everybody's germs unless we're vigilant. So, a few easy things that we can do just to keep everything clean. Hand sanitizer, disinfectant spray that is conscious of the environment. We've got a couple of candles so that we can use the dish station at night. Okay, so imagine this is probably ideally all set up on a table underneath an easy up. So imagine you're coming up with your plate. Here's the compost bin. You scrape everything. There's a little note telling us what we can put in the compost and what we have to put in the trash. So we're walking up with our plate, scrape everything into the compost. The next bin is a pre-rinse bin. It just has water in it. You dip your plate in there, get all the little scraps off. The pre-rinse is awesome because it saves the rest of the dishwater. It gets all the little scraps. There's all kinds of nasty stuff floating in there, but it saves the rest of the dishwater so that you don't have to haul so much. So we rinse it off in the pre-rinse. The next station is the wash station. This is where the job gets done. We've got biodegradable soap, very important that it's biodegradable. We've got rags, a copper scrubber. Ideally, this water would be at least a little bit warm. It may or may not be the case because sometimes that's too high maintenance, but it's always nice to have it a little bit warm, you know, since you're trying to get stuff clean. But either way, it'll work. So then your plate's clean, but it's a little bit soapy. Bring it over to this rinse water. Rinse it out in the rinse water. Now your plate's perfectly clean. But the last part is the bleach rinse. The bleach rinse is really important because it's what would kill any of the germs that are left in any of these other buckets from everybody washing their dishes in it already. So we get to the bleach rinse. It would have water and bleach in it. The lid is on it so that the bleach doesn't evaporate and we can keep it for longer. Dip your plate in there. You leave it in there for 15, 30 seconds. Let the bleach do its magic. And then bring it over and put it in the dry station. And when it's dry, all the bleach has evaporated off and your plate is perfectly sterile and clean. So that's all fantastic. Then it becomes about how do we deal with all this water. We have all this water and we want to be conscious about our leave no trace mentality. So what we can do is we have this extra bucket for hauling the water. We also have this strainer. So what we can do is the pre-rinse water, of course, is going to be the nastiest. It's got all the floating stuff in it. Use the strainer with the bucket and strain that water into the bucket so that by the time the water gets into the bucket, there's no pieces floating in it at all. That water can then be hauled off and scattered around or poured into one place. Then actually, what I would do is take the wash water, turn it into the pre-rinse water, take the rinse water, turn it into the wash water, and then fill up the new one for the rinse water. Then you end up having to haul less water. The bleach rinse is a special situation though. The bleach rinse absolutely should not get dumped anywhere. So what we would do with that is strain it with the strainer, run it into this little funnel, into this very specific 5-gallon bucket that has this lid. This kind of lid lets us get in and out of it here so that we can take the bleach water and strain it and funnel it into here, and then we haul this out full of bleach water at the end of the weekend. If people are going to need more, if we're going to need more water than would fit into this, then we would need to get another one of these buckets. However, you really don't need that much water in here, and it should last for 24 hours, whatever you have in here, as long as you keep the lid on. So this should be enough for the weekend. It's very important, of course, as I said, that this water gets hauled out. And the thing about how much bleach to put in, you know, I did a bunch of research about that, and it wasn't really coming up with anything standardized. So I just put a few capfuls in there until when you open it, you smell the bleach. You're like, oh, there's no doubt there's some bleach in that water. It's better to go heavy on the bleach rather than light. I mean, you don't want to put too much in there, of course, because it's incredibly toxic, but you want to know there's bleach in that situation. So That's the dish station. It's pretty awesome. Everything is included in here, and it all stacks up, and all this stacks up and fits into the one bin, and the lid goes on it, so it's just a stack of bins with all the stuff in the one, and then the 5-gallon buckets stack up. It's super easy. Have fun.